Malachi P.L. Reynolds. Welcome to Shabbat Fellowship right here in Fort Worth, Texas. We are the Lost Found Israelites Ministry, and this is the day that Yah has made. We are presently located at 2809 Ryland Boulevard, Fort Worth, Texas. And our mission is to teach our people who they are according to the Bible. And our mission is to teach our people what is required of them according to the scriptures. Our contact number is 800-592-8213. And our very own Chief Elder will be teaching this morning. Our very own Chief Elder, Scales, will be teaching this morning. And we would like to encourage our viewers to continue to support us. I would like to extend our right-hand fellowship to those who have gathered with us this morning locally. And I would like to extend the right-hand of fellowship to those who have gathered with us by way of social media, such as YouTube or Facebook. To our remote listeners who are located in Las Vegas, and our Lost Found Israelite members as well, and supporters who are located in Florida and Mississippi as well. So at this time, let's get Elder Scales up. He will be our teacher today. Let's give him a hand.
Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Family, today we're going to go over something very important. And it's called cognitive dissonance. And the reason why it's important is because we're in the world of Satan, and it's a world full of deceit and lies. And so, if you ever wonder why sometimes it's hard for people who are still attached to the Christian church or are not awakened, why it's so hard, most of the time it's not because they don't want to change. It's because of what they learned as a child on up. And when you hear what cognitive dissonance is when some new evidence is presented to you after you believe in something for so long, but it causes a mental conflict. Not mental disease now, just a conflict. You know, you warn between what you've been knowing and what's presented to you now. And it's easier to stay with what you already know than it is to change. And this is why a lot of Christians have problems coming over, because of the things that we were taught, when we were young. And that goes for a lot of things. And so we have to, there's plenty of things that they do. They have most of us looking to be invaded by aliens from outer space. And you'd be surprised that the Israelites believe that too. I mean, they believe in planet Nibiru and whatever else they call it. They believe we're spinning around on some ball. I mean, it's just a whole bunch of things we were fed as a child. I mean, the first thing they do to you in kindergarten is stick a gun in front of your face. You know? And it's ridiculous. Before we had GPS, and I used to travel, going from different states and stuff like that, what I would do was stop at a truck stop and buy a map. And I laid a map across from the hood of my car. And nowhere on that map is it round. Everything is straight across. You know, you think they have it shaped in a circle in it, but it's not. And so we just gonna have to unlearn a bunch of things. There's a bunch of things about this pandemic they telling us that's wrong, and it just causes a bunch of conflict in your mind. It's hard to accept something new. And this is the problem with most Christians. It's not that they want to remain where they are. It's just hard to shake what you come from. You know, I know people didn't stop believing in Santa Claus till they were 14. I mean, it's just something that sticks with you, you know, for a minute. And so you have to learn to unlearn things. Now, I'm gonna put this picture up here. Let me see. How long, if you be honest, and I'll be honest myself, when we came into the truth, how long was it, even though you knew the truth, and you knew what Mashiach looked like? I mean, you fully accepted it, but how long was it before when you were praying that you quit seeing that image? Now, you know the truth, but that image kept showing up. I mean, that was a struggle for me. It took me about a year. You know, I know who Mashiach is, but when I pray, that image just keep coming up, you know. And there's nothing wrong about, I mean, eventually you'll lose it, but that's what that cognitive dissonance is. Your mind is trying to fight with you. No. You know, that's not how he's supposed to look. And so that's what happened. So we're going to get into scripture first. I got a few I want to read here. All right. I'm going to read this. You don't have it written down, possibly. Let me start with 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4. It says, in whom the God of this world has blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Mashiach, who is the image of Elohim, should shine unto them. See, the God of this world. See, you got to know who the God of this world is, which is Satan. You know, he was allowed to do his thing for a while. Now, That's the God of this world. A lot of people get the word world and earth mixed up. The earth is the Most High and everything in it. But a world is a system of things. So we can't get the two mixed up. Alright? This is his world, and it's a world full of deceit and lies. I mean, we grew up in a matrix. I mean, it was just full of lies. I mean, I'm going to read 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called. Keep that in mind. Oppositions of science, so called. Ephesians 2 and 2 says, where in time past you walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince and power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. And I'll read one more before we get going. Revelation 12:9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Okay? He deceived the whole world. Don't think for 1 minute during your lifetime that you weren't deceived. And most of us are still deceived. So it was a deception from the beginning. Now I'm going to read. Let's talk about NASA, who they are. Okay? I know everybody done heard of them and all this, but who are they? They're an agency that pretend to be done left this earth, when scriptures firmly tell you that flesh and blood will not enter into the kingdom. I don't care if you're dead or alive, you're not going. So right off the top, that's a lie. Okay. So let me read Apostle, go ahead and read that first scripture in Genesis.
Genesis, first chapter, the first through the 7th verses.
No. Yeah, the one on here. It should be Genesis 3 and 13 on there. Oh, no, I got that. I'm sorry. That's my bad. Let me read. I forgot this is another sheet. Genesis chapter 3, verse 13. And the Most High Elohim said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. Now, if you look up the word beguile, just look it up in the Strong's Concordance, or you can go to the Blue Letter Bible. That's the name of it. In Hebrew, it says rakia. Now, I'm wrong too. That's not the birds. There we go. Can y'all see that? Yeah. Where it say NASA? Who is NASA?
The lying people.
See? That's what the word NASA means in Hebrew. I mean the word beguile. The word beguile in Genesis 3:13. It'll be the Hebrew word H5377. Right there. See, these people are smart. See, they're wicked. Don't think this just started. You know, the fallen angels been down here with all this technology and stuff. So why would they name it that? They could have named it anything. They could have named it American Space Agents. couldn't it? Just as easy. But they know. See, the upper ruling class, they know the word. They know the scriptures, believe it or not. And they do something like this. You know, because they know people, it gets right by a lot of people. Let me see here. Let me show you what it says. Now, can you see that?
Using their brain for more evil than good.
The word, this is the definition of NASA. To beguile, to deceive, to be beguiled. Can you see it? That's the definition of NASA.
Trick.
Ain't that what Eve said the serpent did to her? He beguiled me. Well, it's the word NASA in the Hebrew. And you saw a while ago it was spelled the same way. I think it's really in Hebrew it's pronounced Nashah, but the spelling was the same. See it? NASA. It's pronounced Nashah. But it means to deceive. Beguile. Deceive. That's exactly what happened. And so we right there, see the scripture, you know what I like about the Bible? It's our history. It's our future. It deals with current day. And it's also a lie detector. Because every lie that this world has told you, you can prove it out in the scripture. Every one of them. You can take them down. I don't care what lie they put out there. You can take them down with scripture. See, the Bible is a lie detector. Really?
Yes,
That's what it
sir.
really is.
Yes, sir.
It's a lie detector.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's get into it. Go ahead and read, Pastor.
Genesis, first chapter, the first through the 7th verse. And it reads, in the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and the earth. Second verse, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the spirit of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. Third verse, and Elohim said, let there be light, and there was light. Fourth verse, and Elohim saw the light, that it was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness. Fifth verse, and Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Sixth verse, and Elohim said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Seventh verse, and Elohim made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which was above the firmament. And it was so.
Now, okay. Now, we are told that we live in a heliocentric universe, which is a lie. We live in a geocentric. Heliocentric means that the earth revolves around the sun. See, geocentric is just the opposite. The sun is the one that moves. Okay? So, that being said, then how was it already day and night and the separation of day and night before he even made the sun? See, the sun and moon and the stars weren't made yet. But what did he say? Let it be light. And he divided the light. See? It was already light. The sun, wasn't no earth moving around no sun to get light night and day because it hadn't been created yet. That didn't happen yet. All right? All right, let's prove it first.
1st chapter, 14 through the 19 verses. And Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. 15th verse. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. 16th verse. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. 17th verse. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. 19th verse. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day.
Now you see that? This was afterwards. This was afterwards when he said let it be light. When he put them up there. But they will tell you that they will tell you that the moon doesn't have its own light. It gets light from the sun, which is the difference. Because that's a whole different type of brightness. The Most High just said it, the lesser light and the brighter light. But that's what science tells you. Oh, well, the moon is not a light of itself. It gets the light from the sun. The moon is a light. It's a luminary. That's exactly what it is. And so we're going to prove our point further about the earth not needing to spin around the sun because of there wasn't even sun and moon yet first. So go to the next verse, Revelation.
Revelation 21 and 21 through the 25th verse. And it reads, and the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl. And the street of the city was pure gold, and it was transparent glass. The 22nd verse. And I saw no temple therein, for the Most High Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. The 23rd verse. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it. For the glory of Elohim did lighten it, and the lamp is the light thereof. The 24th verse. And the nations of them which were saved shall walk in the light of it. And the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. The 25th verse. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there.
Okay. We see right there, when this is all over with and the Most High dwells with us, then he said, we're not going to even need a sun in the room.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So how is it that the earth got to spin around the sun and get lighted? I mean, he created it. Wherever the Most High is up this light anyway. There is no darkness in the Most High.
Hallelujah.
He said, let it be light, and it was. This before he even put the sun and moon and the stars up there. And he's telling you here in Revelation that when he comes back in the Bible and lives with us, you ain't going to need the sun and the moon. He's saying it ain't going to be dark. So the basic thing that he put the sun and moon and stars, it was for signs and seasons for us.
Yes, sir.
And of course to keep us warm. But they would have you be, that sun is 93 million miles away. That is absolutely stupid. I tell you what, those of you who don't live in Texas, come down here in July, wait till around 2:33 in the evening and go outside and stand in that sun and tell me if it feels like it's 93 million miles away. It feels like it's about 93 yards away. Ain't no way that's going to happen. Okay? Now, in Genesis, we also heard the word firmament, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay? Let me put this up here too. All right. That's how our forefathers saw it. I mean, they were more closely connected to the Most High than Nicholas Copernicus. Did you know that Nicholas Copernicus didn't put that theory out about the earth being round until the 1500s? We were practically in slavery when that happened. And if you know who he is, he was a Catholic bishop. So are we to take anything that they say? That is a theory, folks. That's not fact. A theory is not fact. That was a theory. Okay? That happened in the 1500s. NASA wasn't even established until July of 1958. That's when it was established. Matter of fact, I'm 11 years older than NASA. It wasn't created until 1958. All right? So, we know that's some kind of China connected thing here. Let's see. Now, the word firmament, in Hebrew, it is rakia. All right? It says an expanse, the firmament, apparently visible arc of the sky. What is an arc? We saw a picture a while ago. What does an arc look like? It looks just like that. That's what an arc is. It's a firmament is the visible arc of the sky. That's also in the Blue Letter Bible, in the strong definition. Rakia, it'd be 87554. See if I can get another. Okay, here's more definitions of it. Say 87549. It says, you have to pay attention to this. Extended service, expanse, firmament, expanse, flat as it base, firmament, vault of heaven, a vault of heaven supporting waters above it. Isn't that what Genesis said? Considered by Hebrews as solid and supporting waters above it. That's the definition of firmament. It says it's solid. Okay? It's solid. Let me see what this is. Yeah, that's just the word of it. Rakia. Yeah, it is a solid surface. Like I say, the picture we saw a while ago is just how our people saw it. That's how it looked. You cannot have a ball like this and it be on foundation. A ball, a ring. So, how is it that the Most High flooded the earth? because it would have fell off. But it was flat. Let's see. Another misconception, they say that we got planets. When the Most High gave you a list of what He created in the heavenly bodies. He said the sun, He said the moon, and He said the stars. You're not going to hear no Mars and Jupiter and all that, because they don't exist. But see, people can easily get you to believe something that you can't witness, that you can't see. Take this pandemic. We can't see it. So they just say we got one. And it puts people in fear. See? And that's what they play on. So let's find out what he did make. Go to the second page, the one, 2.
You want James?
It starts with Psalms.
Yes, sir. Psalms 147 and 4. And it reads, He telleth the number of the stars. He called them all by their names.
Okay. Tell me if I'm wrong or not. Did he say anything about a planet? He said he tell the number of the stars, and he called them by their name. See, the Most High named them. And we're going to see some of these that he named too, because they're in the scripture. Go ahead and read the next one.
Job 8 through 9. Job 8 through 9. And it reads, Which alone spread out the heavens, and tread upon the waves of the sea. Ninth verse. Which maketh Arcturus, Orion, and Pleiades, and the chambers of the south.
Okay. Let's see. That right there, what you're looking at on the screen, that's Arcturus right there. That what you see on the screen here now is the planet Arcturus. Not planet, that's the star Arcturus. Okay? This is what they're claiming to be Nibiru planet. The red planet. That's Arcturus. It's in the scriptures. See? Let's see. Where were you at? Okay. Orion. We know what Orion is. Orion is a constellation. So is Pleiades. All of those are constellations. They're not planets. We have the Revelation 12 sign. What is it made of? Different stars in different alignments, which form the Revelation 12 sign. Planets don't have nothing to do with it. But that's what we were brought up on. Okay. Go ahead and continue. Amos.
Job 9, 8 through 9.
No, you did that one, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go to Amos.
Amos 5 and 8. Amos 5 and 8. And it reads, Seek him that maketh the 7 stars and Orion, and turneth the shadow of death into the morning. and maketh the day dark with night, that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poured them out upon the face of the earth. The Most High is his name.
See, there we go again. See, he tells you. See, a lot of people didn't even know Orion was even in the scripture.
Hallelujah.
Or Arcturus, that red star.
Hallelujah.
It's a giant star.
Hallelujah.
Most of the stars, family, are a lot bigger than the sun. You didn't know that, dude.
Yes.
Most of them are bigger than the sun. They're just further out in the firmament. See? And they appear to be smaller, but a lot of the stars are bigger than the sun. A lot bigger, especially Arcturus. They call it the red giant star. It's bigger than the sun. See? But what they tell you, when they look through their little telescope, they go to call them planets. But they're stars. It's exactly what they're doing. What they're doing, family, is trying to get you to believe in all this outer space stuff. They've been doing it since you were children. Buck Rogers, and all these other space, Star Trek. See, they program in your mind to make you think that in the end, that you're going to be fighting against aliens, and you're actually going to be trying to fight against the Most High. See, they're going to throw you off track like that. You're going to run out there and help all these nations when the Most High gathers them up in the valley of hope. Or let me get my gun and help them. You're not going to fight no aliens. You finna fight something you're not going to win. See, you have to get out of this thinking about what they say is out there, because it's not true. One thing about it, they don't tell you about that magnetic belt that's up there that you can't penetrate. Ain't no way. You die before you even get close to it. The Most High is not letting you come in his territory. I don't care who you are. He done told you, ain't no flesh and blood coming up here. Dead or alive. All right?
Excuse me, Elder. I wanted to say that just like when they asked the American citizens to go and fight another nation that they say is has weapons of mass destruction.
Exactly.
When it's actually weapons of mass destruction. Well, it's the same thing, that the only one that's coming from outer space to the earth is the Most High, and they want us to confuse them as a alien that's coming to take away their freedoms.
It goes with Matthew 24 when Marshall say, if they say I'm over here or over there, don't be them.
Good scripture. That's a good one.
Don't go. He's trying to warn y'all that see, if you don't know the Most High's creation, you'll fall for that blue beam stuff.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Bamboozle.
You'll fall for it. They go to putting images in the sky, sees your boys in, oh, he's finally here.
Antichrist the whole time.
See? We have to learn this, family. It's important. We have to start unlearning stuff. You was indoctrinated from the kindergarten.
Right.
The first thing they did to you was put stuff around the earth in front of your face. See, it's impossible. Any of y'all ever been to Denver, Colorado? They call Denver, Colorado, Mile High City. And football player stadium is called Mile High Stadium. Why do they call it Mile High? Because it's 1 mile above sea level. That's how Denver sits. Well, if the earth is round, why did they call it sea level? Why wouldn't it sea curved? When you look way out somewhere, what are you looking at? You're looking at the horizon. you don't think about normal. Horizon, horizontal. Why do they call an airplane an airplane? Because it's flying on a plane. Look up the definition of a plane. You know, they got a tool for woodworking they call a planer. What does it do? Level things off, right? Airplane. It flies on a plane, not no curve. When pilots get up to cruising altitude, you think they sitting there steering that thing all day? No. When they get at cruising altitude, they put it on autopilot and they back there flirting with the flight attendant. They're not worried about the earth doing this.
Exactly. The earth not doing
Yes, sir. If you lift off from the ground with a helicopter, you're no longer in contact with the earth, are you? Okay. Well, if the earth is spinning around at 1,000 miles an hour, when you go to sit it back down, that spot where you took off from ain't gonna be there. Think about it that way. Look how many times did you people done flew to, say, from here to LAX, California. They can do it 5 times a day, and 5 times a day that airport gonna be right where it was the last time they were there. It's not moving. You can't set no plane down on no moving runway. Please, give me a break. You know, we just have to start thinking. You know, get out from under these lies. This, let me see. See that picture there? All 3 of those are shuttle launches. You know when they launch the shuttle?
Yeah.
Do you see it going straight up?
That's what
No.
it is.
Huh?
I seen it today. Yes,
Go watch one on YouTube when they take off. They get up so high and then you'll see that sucker do this. They can't go straight up and they know it.
They ain't never been out of space.
You're going to meet something if you do. You can't.
All them times they say they've been to the moon, they lied.
All of them, every last launch site is near an ocean. And when they take off, that's where it's headed, up over the ocean. They're not going up straight up, and don't be that. These are 3 different launches and 3 different ones. You see the route that it takes.
Exactly.
Or they'll go up for a long way for a while, but then you'll see that it'll start turning. There's no good way they can't go. Ain't no way. I want y'all to, let's see here. Just for a second. Where is it? I want y'all to watch this. This is pretty short, okay? But just watch and see what happens. These are Gentile, well, I don't call them explorers, but, you know, they did their own test, you know, for to go with rockets and stuff. Let's see. Now just watch what happens. And they conducted their own test. Did it stop? That quick? Just watch what happens to that rocket. They got a GoPro camera on it. It's gonna go up about 75,000 feet. And watch what happens. and it reaches 75,000 feet. It took off. Yeah. It's going straight up. See, he's not curving. See, that's 73 miles. That's way high up there. All of a sudden, that sucker gonna stop and start falling back to the earth. When they hit the dome in a minute. Bam. See, you're not going no higher than that. Now, 73 miles up is a lot higher than airplanes are allowed to fly. They only allowed to fly around about maybe between 30 and 35, 40,000 feet. They don't go up that high. See, but they want you to believe that they penetrated the Most High's kingdom. See, this leads all the way back, brother. This is nothing new. That's why the scriptures tell you nothing new under the sun. All this is going right back to the Tower of Babel, where they were trying to do the same thing. They were trying to reach heaven. Did the Most High lie?
No,
Absolutely not. No, you're not going to do it. Okay, let's see here what I want to do. Yeah. Skip 3 to right now and go to page 4.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now start there. We don't see what actually moved. Is it the sun or the earth? Okay. Now this is scripture. This ain't NASA. This ain't nobody. This is the word. So who you gonna believe? Go ahead.
Psalms 19. Psalms 19, 1 through 6. And it reads, "The heavens declare the glory of Elohim, and the firmament showeth his handiwork." Second verse, "Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge." Third verse, "There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard." Fourth verse, "Their line is gone out throughout the earth." Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them had he set a tabernacle for the sun. Fifth verse, "Which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoice as a strong man to run a race." Sixth verse, "His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof."
And that's speaking about the sun. What did it say? It's circuit. How can it be the sun have a circuit if it's not moving?
Right.
It's circuit. This is what the sun do and the moon do all day. They trail each other at their appointed time. You know, something that has a circuit is moving. You know, this electricity has a circuit. You know, when it's on, then it's connected. You know, your electricity leaves, go back to the wall, the source, back to wherever you got it plugged to. It's a complete circuit. When that circuit is broken, then your device shuts off. Okay? So the sun has a circuit. Go ahead and read the next. Matthew.
Matthew 5 and 45. Matthew, the 5th chapter, the 45th verse. And it reads, that ye may be the children of your Father, which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain upon the just and on the unjust.
Now, how is the sun going to rise if it's stationary? If we're the one moving and the sun not, then how is it rising? In order for it to rise, it has to move. So we really going to get into one that just kill this argument. But we'll keep going right now. Go ahead with the next one, Isaiah.
Isaiah, the 11th chapter, the 12th verse. Isaiah, the 11th chapter, the 12th verse. And it reads, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
Four corners? You mean to tell me a goat got corners on it? He just said it. He said he's going to gather us from the four corners. I've never seen a round goat with any corners on it. Okay, go to the next one.
Isaiah 48th chapter, the 13th verse. Isaiah 48th chapter, the 13th verse. And it reads, my hand also had laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand had spanned the heavens. When I call unto them, they stand up together.
Now, I ask you again, does a goat have a foundation?
No,
This
sir.
building has a foundation,
Yes, sir.
and it also has pillars.
Yes, sir.
We may not can see them, but in different places we got pillars. They call them support beams. You take the wrong one out, your roof will collapse. So he said he built the foundation. A round ball don't have no foundation. I'm just sorry. Now we got a problem. All right, read the next. Daniel.
The book of Daniel, the 4th chapter, 11th verse. The book of Daniel, the 4th chapter, the 11th verse. And it reads, the tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to the end of all the earth.
Okay. To the end of the earth. This is when Daniel was explaining that dream to Nebuchadnezzar. He said, he was that tree. He said, and it reached to heaven, and you can see it from the ends of the earth. Why would they keep saying end? Do you know it's a place that we can't even go? We can't go to Antarctica? Because it's something that they don't want nobody to see. You can't even go.
So you seen your federal presentation?
See? And it's only a few countries that's involved in it. But you can't just I think I'll go to Antarctica. No, you not. I promise you not. Read the next one. Job.
Job, 9th chapter, 6th verse. Which shaketh the earth out of her place, and the pillars thereof trembled.
Pillars. You mean this earth is supported? Have anybody ever seen a round globe need pillars? No. We got pillars in this building. If you tear out the sheetrock, you'll see them. They don't so much call them pillars when they're in a building, they'll call them support beams, but it's the same thing. A round globe don't need no pillars at all. It's supposed to be suspended out there by itself. Okay? Job, read the next, 38.
The book of Job, 38th chapter, 6th verse. And it reads, whereupon are the foundations thereof fasted? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof?
A cornerstone. You don't have a cornerstone on nothing in this land. Okay? That's impossible. I think the next one is 1 Samuel. Hold on a minute. Take it.
1 Samuel 2 and 8. 1 Samuel 2 and 8. And it reads, he raised up the poor out of the dust, and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Most High, and he set the world upon them.
That sells it right there. He just told you how he did this. I mean, who are we to say any different? Now this, look, family, what I want to get this over to you, this is not a salvation issue. If you believe it's brown, okay. If you believe it's black, okay. But the thing is, you can, are most likely to be deceived in the end. See, that's what it is. You're looking for one thing, and it's something else. You're looking for space creatures and all this stuff. Now, the Most High is not going to condemn you because that's what your belief is. As long as it don't cause you to doubt him or sin, which a lot of people are going to be deceived in the end. This is why we got to learn, we're supposed to know our Father, and know his creation. We part of it. Go ahead and read that.
Psalms 104 and 1 through 6 verse. Psalms chapter 104, the first through the 6th verse. And it reads, bless the Most High, O my soul. O my Elohim, thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty. 2nd verse. Who covereth thyself with light as with a garment, who stretcheth out the heavens like a curtain. 3rd verse. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, who maketh his angels spirits, his ministers a flaming fire. 5th verse. Who layeth the foundations of the earth, that it should not be removed forever. 6th verse. Thou coverest it with the deep as with a garment. The waters stood above the mountains.
Now, it just said, he made the foundations of the earth that it won't be moved. And in the last verse it said, we're spinning and traveling at the same time. Spinning. We're spinning 1,000 miles an hour this way. That's spinning. But we're circling the sun around about 6 to 8 or 70,000 miles per hour. We feel something. Trust me. You feel something. Because in order for that to happen, the whole atmosphere have to move with it.
A lot of people misuse their brains. I never read no place in the word Yahweh say, I gave you brains not to use it. I ain't never seen it.
Okay, go to Habakkuk.
Habakkuk 3 and 11. Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter, 11th verse. And it reads, the sun and moon stood still in their habitation. The sun and moon stood still in their habitation. At the light of thy arrows they went, and at the shining of thy glittering spirit.
Now, in order for the sun and moon to stand still, that means apparently they were moving at first. Nothing is, you don't have to tell somebody to stand still if they already still. See, I mean, like I say, the scriptures, the scriptures is allowed to take. See, let's stop all that. Go to the next, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, the 31st chapter. Jeremiah, the 31st chapter, the 37th verse. And it reads, thus says the Most High, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, said the Most High.
I mean, you just keep repeating it over and over. You know, you gonna measure the foundation? Okay, I got a question on this. Now, they say the sun is 93 million miles away, right? What I want to know is who measured it. What, do they have some kind of tape measure that'll reach 93 miles? 93 million miles? Who measured it? In some places when you look it up, they'll tell you how much the earth weighs. Well, who weighed it? It's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour and traveling around the sun. What kind of scale did y'all use to weigh it? What kind of tape measure did y'all use to measure out 93 million miles? See? They just say things and people just accept it. Huh?
But I want our society right.
Next verse, Proverbs.
Proverbs 8 chapter, the 27th through the 29th verse. Proverbs 8 chapter, the 27th through the 29th verses. It reads, when he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth. 28th verse. When he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep. The 29th verse. When he gave to the sea his decree, that the waters should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth.
Family, do you know it's over about 200 and something scriptures in here relating to this, how the earth is, and people don't even know it? It's a whole lot more. I could have had paper stacked up this high. Okay, now, this one here and the following verse, if this don't do it for you, I can't help it. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
Go ahead and read.
Joshua, the book of Joshua, the 10th chapter, the 12th through the 14th verses. And it reads, then spake Joshua to Elohim in the day, when the Most High delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, sun, stand still, thou upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. 13th verse. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hastened not to go down about a whole day.
Now this is when Joshua wanted more daylight so he could finish off his enemy. See, what did he say? Sun stay still. Did he say earth stay still?
No, sir.
Well, then if the earth was moving, seemed common sense to me, he would have said earth stand still so I can have more daylight. You know, stop when you get around to the sun, just stop. No, he told the sun to stay still, and he told the moon to stay where it was. See? It's constant, folks. They trail each other. Just like this, all day. Sometimes they practically catch up with one another. And some mornings you can go out and see the sun and the moon out at the same time. Have you ever seen that? It happens more than you think.
Yes, sir, I have.
Right. Okay. Now, go ahead and read Isaiah. Now, this is when King Hezekiah was sick. Isaiah 38, 1 and 9. That's on the next. Should still be on page 4. The last.
Yes, sir. The book of Isaiah, the 38th chapter. The book of Isaiah, the 38th chapter.
This is when Hezekiah was dying, y'all. Listen carefully.
The 1st through the 9th verse, 38th chapter of Isaiah, and it reads, In those days were Hezekiah sick unto death, and Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came unto him and said unto him, Thus says the Most High, Set thy house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. 2nd verse. Then Hezekiah turned his face towards the wall and prayed unto the Most High. 3rd verse. And said, Remember now, O Most High, I beseech thee, how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. The 4th verse. Then came the word of the Most High to Isaiah, saying, 5th verse. Go and say to Hezekiah, Thus says the Most High, the Elohim of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer. I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will add unto thy days 15 years. The 6th verse. And I will deliver thee and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria. And I will defend this city. 7th verse. And this shall be a sign unto thee from the Most High, that the Most High will do this thing that he has spoken. 8th verse. Behold, I will bring again the shadow of the decrees, which is gone down to the sundial of Hazar, 10 degrees backwards. So the sun returned 10 degrees, by which degree it was gone down. The writing of Hezekiah, king of Judah, when he had been sick and was recovered of his sickness.
Now, he was dying, and he asked the Most High, to help him out. And the Most High said, okay, I'm going to give you 15 years. And this is going to be the sign of it. I'm going to send the sun back 10 degrees on the sundial. So anytime time that shadow goes back on the sundial, that means the sun gotta be moving.
Right.
Y'all know what a sundial look like, right? The old sundial? A shadow be in a certain place according to where the sun is. That's how people told the time. Where the Most High say, I'm gonna send it back 10 degrees. So how is it that the sun don't move? Most High sent it. We saw what Joshua did. He told the sun to stand still.
Right.
But these folks got you believe that we're on a spinning ball, you know, and it's going around the sun.
Merry-go-round.
We're not moving. The sun is.
Hold on.
We ain't moving. We can get in our car. If anybody brave enough to do it, I've done it before, I won't do it now. But drive 100 miles an hour, you can tell that car is going 100 miles an hour. Trust me, you feel it.
Right.
But here we are on an earth that's spinning 1,000 miles an hour. We don't feel nothing. See? It just don't make no sense. You can give me all that gravity stuff and all that you want to. And that's a theory too. See? I can prove it. What I say. It has something to do about weight and the resistance toward the air that's surrounding you. That's what your gravity is. The law of gravity. If it's the law of gravity, then everything should be pretty much, you know, pulled to the ground. Now, this binder here, this pencil, the binder weighs more than the pencil, right?
Yes,
If
sir.
I were to hold them and drop them, they're going to hit the ground at the same time. I don't care how much heavier it is than that. If I can get them even here and turn them loose at the same time. They hit the ground at the exact, this weighs a lot more than this.
Yes, sir.
You can be up on the Empire State Building, and somebody got a Volkswagen up there, and you and the Volkswagen leave at the same time, y'all pushed up, you and that Volkswagen gonna hit the ground at the same time. And that Volkswagen a whole lot heavier than you. See, it's got something to do with things being heavier than the air. Now, if you take a feather and throw it out there, it's not gonna take it all day to get to the ground. See, if it's just gonna, you know, float around.
If you take 1,000-pound rocks and 1,000 pounds up, they both gonna hit the ground.
They're gonna hit the ground at the same time. It's got something to do with you being heavier than air. This is why when you jump out of a plane with a parachute, once that chute open and that air flows up into the canopy, it neutralizes your weight, which slows you down from coming to the ground. See, that's how that works. Then you're still gonna be coming down around 25 miles an hour, but not enough to kill you. See, that's how that works. See, all this stuff that we learn, we have to unlearn. It took me a long time to get this fella out of my mind and switch to do it. Now, I've been in the truth, but I'll tell you, when you close your eyes and pray for a long time, that's still going to be in your mind. That image right there. A lot of people still suffer from it. This, in Israel today, there's a weight. They still, you know, they close their eyes to pray, and this fella here shows up. You know? It takes some doing to get that image because you learned it when? Long time ago. See, that's what causes that cognitive dissonance. is what makes it so tough on people trying to get out of Christianity.
Right.
They get in a church this long where the pastor tells them they don't have to keep the law.
Right.
So when they come to us
Mm-hmm.
and we tell you, yeah, you do,
Right.
now it's a conflict. See?
Mm-hmm.
And it's easier for them to just go back to believing what they believe
Exactly.
than to change, to avoid that conflict in your mind. That's what that is. It's just a mental conflict, not mental disease. It's easier to stay with something than to change.
Exactly.
You know, to new truth. You hear the new truth and now you got a war going on. Well, wait a minute.
Now you said,
I thought they were all Europeans in the Bible. I didn't know that was us. See, when you try to tell them that, they keep seeing the other people in the Bible. They don't see themselves in that. It's hard to get away from. Like using the name. That was a struggle, you know. You had to get away from trying to use that J name, you know. And occasionally I slip up now. Occasionally.
Right.
Not often, but occasionally it slips out. I'm telling you. Thank goodness it ain't when I'm live nowhere. On my channel. I'm pretty sure I get a lot of comments. Hey, Elder, what's going on? But see, we just been lied to so much, man. Let's see.
Elder, a lot of people, as humans, we are a creature. As humans, we are always inclined to, we're creatures of comfort.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they get so comfort that they get so, they get in the mode of being comfortable with the lies. And the truth is inconvenient because they realize it will conflict with their lifestyle. Meaning, like, once you embrace this new truth, then you got to change all this other stuff.
Exactly.
And it becomes an inconvenient truth.
Yeah.
Well, if this is the case, then I got to change this, and I got to redo this, and I got to, that's just too much. I'd rather just stick with the lie.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Cognitive dissonance, what it is, it makes you uncomfortable.
Exactly.
You don't want to change. I mean, you don't mind changing, but you can't because it's a war going on. You know, you done heard this fellow look like this for so long. I mean, all the way from when you was big enough to start going to church, then all of a sudden somebody come, oh, well, no, he looks like us, man. Oh, no, you know. See, it's hard to break from that, so it's more comfortable to just keep leaving that. That, I believe most of unsaved Israel would want to change. It's just too uncomfortable.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When we tell them that we keep different feast days and all that, they used to Christmas and Thanksgiving. See that? No, that's uncomfortable. That's a conflict. See? That's where it is. So when you trying to tell somebody about the truth and stuff, you have to kind of understand that they suffering from cognitive dissonance. You creating a conflict within their mind now. See, the reason why we're here, us, right here in this building, the Most High called you. So it wouldn't have been of a struggle.
Right.
See, but when you trying to, talk to other people, and until the Most High open their eyes, it's going to just be hard to reach them. Because they're set. They're just set in their belief.
The Bible says they got that no man can come to the Father unless he got a drawer by his spirit. But they still call him.
Right.
Just like Adam and Eve when they sinned, they was alive on the inside, but they was dead. They was alive on the outside, but from within, they had no life.
See, a lot of us sitting here
Spiritually.
thinking this is something we need.
Right.
You know, I came into the truth. No, you was called.
Yes,
Most
sir.
High snatched you up.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Probably to save your life. You
You
know,
sure did.
yeah, most people, man, I'm telling you,
Right.
Yes, sir.
I'm a straight witness to that. Most High let me live the way I wanted to live for 50 years of my life.
It's his time.
And preserved me until the time that he chose for me to
There
change.
you go. Amen. Hallelujah.
And when he did, it was instant. It took me no time to accept it or nothing.
Exactly. Hallelujah.
And guess what? It was somebody that's young enough to be my son that brought me to it.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All
I
right.
got children his age. I'm in a car wash one day. Ain't nobody in there but me and him on a Saturday. That's unusual. Nobody ever even came while we were in there.
Wow.
And he was playing some music, and I thought it was rap music, and I was finna get mad. You know, but it wasn't rap. It was, I kept hearing something about YAH'S and, you know, the Most High and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was sounding good. So I did something I don't never do. I hardly ever start a conversation. I don't ever approach people. You know, if you talk to me, I'll talk all day. But I'm not one of them that approach people I don't know. But I did that day. I said, man, what is that you playing? And he told me, and it went from there. He told me what he believed and all this, and gave me a few websites to go to and stuff like that. And the whole time we were in there, about an hour, nobody ever came to the car wash.
Hallelujah.
See, that was an arranged meeting.
Exactly.
Guess what? From that day to this one, I haven't seen him again. And he lives in Evelyn.
Wow.
Evelyn's not big.
Drop me plenty of that seed.
Exactly.
See? So that's why they say, be careful, because you could be entertaining
Angels.
Hallelujah.
Evelyn being that small, surely I'll be done ran across him by now.
Exactly.
You never see me again.
Nope.
That was an angel.
Hallelujah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm wondering. That was strange. For nobody not to show up on a Saturday?
Exactly.
The whole time we was in there, not one car come in there.
That's
Not
that
one.
club. That's that club on Saturday.
Okay, let's knock this other one out. Let's go to the one with the 3 on it. Find out who we gonna be fighting.
Zephaniah, 3rd chapter, 8th verse. And it reads, Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Most High, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy.
Do that sound like we finna fight E.T.?
Right.
No,
Some moon man. But this is what these folks got to believe in. See?
Right.
Oh, planet Nibiru.
We finna fight some zombies.
You know, and the scriptures plainly tell you what's going to fall to the earth. It's called wormwood. And it is a star. Not a planet. It's a star.
Right.
That's what's going to fall to the earth. That's in Revelation. He said, and the name of the star was wormwood. Didn't say the name of the planet, because there are none. I'm sorry, that bushy bubble. Ain't no Mars. Ain't no Jupiter.
Is that the actual star?
Huh?
The star from the skies? The star from the skies? Is that the actual star that's going to fall out the sky?
The Most High gonna make a lot of them fall.
Yeah. He said that in Matthew too.
Yeah, he said the stars and, you know, all that's going. No, it ain't gonna be no Nibiru, whatever that is. Planet X. It's a red planet up there, but I just had it up. This is in the scripture. He read it a while ago. Okay. See if I can. That right there is Arcturus. That's in the scripture. That what you see that red planet, star. Yeah. It's Arcturus. You know, it's not a planet. It's a star. The scriptures will tell you that. That right there is see it say Arcturus? Yeah. Now that's in the scriptures we read a while ago, by name.
That's gonna be fire right there.
Arcturus is in there. Pleiades is a constellation. It's in there. Orion, that's a constellation. It's in there. All of it. You see nowhere in the scriptures, if anybody can find me the word planet, anywhere in the scriptures, I'll give you $5 for each one of them. Because they are none. This is just what did we say NASA mean? Those deceivers told you. Okay, let's continue. Joel.
The book of Joel, the prophet Joel, the 3rd chapter, the 1st through the 12th verse. And it reads, For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people, and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land. 3rd verse. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Zion, O Tyre, and Zidon, and all the coast of Philistine? Will you render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? 5th verse. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things, and the children also of Judah, and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. 7th verse. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans, to a people for all.
Y'all know who the Sabaeans are? They're tall Africans.
Tall.
Very tall. Africans.
African.
Yeah, he said he's gonna sell them to Judah.
Yeah.
You know. Judah's gonna sell those to the Sabaeans. Okay, go ahead.
To a people for all. For the Most High has spoken it. 9th verse. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men.
They pretty much don't know too much. You know what I'm saying? They only know what was told to them. But I'm talking about the ruling elite. They know. They know the scripture. Trust me. Probably know them better than you do. They know.
Talking about it for the government.
Yeah, the one you're not going to ever see. The ones you see now, Biden,
Congress, Senate, and all that. They're nobody. They're puppets. That's not who's running this country. They can't do nothing without permission from the folks that actually run it.
Hello.
13
All right? Get that straight. Everybody get mad at the president. He following order.
Thank
Just
you.
a puppet on the string.
You talking about the Jewish people, right?
Oh, well, they very rich. I tell you that.
Jewish people.
Yeah.
They Satan's kids.
Okay. All right. Let's continue. Yeah, Jeremiah 51, verse 19 through 23.
Jeremiah, the book of the prophet Jeremiah, 51st chapter, the 19th through the 23rd verse.
Now,
Now you can see who's gonna do some fighting. It's not gonna be aliens. Let him read through.
The 19th verse, the book of Jeremiah, the 51st chapter. And it reads, "The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things. And Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Most High host is his name. There are my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy the kingdom."
Now who is he talking to? He's talking to Israel. Okay, keep reading.
The 21st verse. "And with thee will I break in pieces the horses and his rider. And with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman. And with thee will I break in pieces old and young. And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid." 23rd verse. "I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock. And with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers."
Now who I really think that is, I think that's the elect. That's who I really think that is. You know, the 144,000. I think that's pretty much who that's gonna be coming down here to do what they gotta do. You know, but it's not gonna be an alien. And it's being in glorified bodies, it ain't nothing you can do to them. You can't kill them.
That's right.
You know, I'm thinking it's gonna be the 144,000 elect. You know, of course, I'd like to get my punch or two in if I could.
Right?
Right.
Right?
But if they do a pretty good job, I'm good with it, you know. Let's go and get Ezekiel.
The prophet Ezekiel, the 39th chapter, the 7th through the 12th verse. And it reads, "So I will make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel. And I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore. And the heathen shall know that I am the Most High, the Holy One in Israel. Behold, it is come, and it is done, said Elohim. This is the day whereof I have spoken." 9th verse. "And they that dwell in the cities of Israel shall go forth, and shall set on fire and burn the weapons, both the shields and the bucklers, the bows and the arrows, and the handsaws and the spears, and they shall burn them with fire 7 years. So shall they take no wood out of the field, neither cut them down out of the forest, but they shall burn the weapons with fire, and they shall spoil those that spoil them, and rob those that rob them, said Elohim."
Amen.
Payback.
Amen.
Big payback.
Big favor.
11th verse. "And it shall come to pass in that day that I will give unto God a place there of graves in Israel. the valley of the passengers on the east of the sea, and it shall stop the noses of the passengers, and there shall they bury God, and all his multitude, and they shall call it the valley of Hammedah. 12th verse. And the 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them. Excuse me. And 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them, that they may cleanse the land.
That's a lot of bodies. And say the house of Israel gonna be burying folks for 7 months. See, that really don't sound like we're dealing with no aliens. If we get that, I mean,
We don't bury no animals.
the Most High got, he got his plan in. You know, I know we getting a little impatient, all this stuff going on, you know, but he has it mapped out. You know, he know the right time to come. I don't want him to come, and I'm not ready. You see what I'm saying? We all would like to think we ready,
Right?
you know, but if there's anything hidden in me, I want it all to be gone before he show up. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to take that chance. Now, I'm anxious for it to, you know, get this done with, man. These folks done lost their minds. You know, but he'll do it in his own timing, you know. So, right now, instead of going with this last one, it's something else I want to show you. But see that picture on the screen?
Yes, sir.
You know what they are? Those are stars. That show you that stars move. That's what you call star trails. I can take that camera right there, what he's recording with right now. Wait till a clear night, go out there and use the proper setting and stuff and set it to record. That's what it's going to show.
Wow.
See?
That's beautiful.
How can they streak like that if they're not moving?
Right.
This whole universe around us is moving. The sun, the moon, the star, they move. If you go out on the night and look up long enough, you'll see this star over here, and probably a little bit later you come back out and it's over here. They move.
I see it.
But with a camera and recording at the right speed, it makes star trails. That's what you're looking at. How could this happen if they're sitting still?
They say shooting stars.
Have you seen people do photography of people's car lights, tail lights going down the freeway and it's like a long stream, long red, stream of light? That's the same thing. Something has to be moved. I do it with that very camera right there. All right, now I'm gonna stop. I think I did enough on that right quick. I'm gonna do this right quick so we can see another lie to avoid. Let me see. Okay. You see this? This is from the CDC. They update it every week. Every week. I goes on there every week. And it hasn't changed yet. Now they said, we're the most vulnerable, right? We're the ones who more likely get sick, right?
Right.
Okay. Right here, that says Latino and Hispanic. Right up under there, it says Asian, non-Hispanic. Below them is black, non-Hispanic. This here is white. This is the European. Now who got it the most? Huh? This is updated every week. See, they know you're not going to go and look. See, they count on us not looking. All right? Now, that's the depth. The depths. Okay, the other one it's gonna be the ones that are infected. That's the infection rate. Look at it, almost the same pattern. Well, Hispanic got infected more on this. We did.
Right.
This is us right here, the third one. This is
Asians right here.
right there, that's Asian. Look who that is. Huh?
Once again.
So who needs the vaccine?
They do.
Right.
Huh? And you know they put yeast in these numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they count everything as a COVID, you know, there.
Exactly.
So just look at it. This is on the CDC, their own website. It's not nothing I made up. I'm gonna let you hear for yourself. This is just a sound bite. You remember this sister they put out in front, say she's one of the main scientists that created, you know, the COVID Kizzy. Her name is Kizzy. Listen to what she said. Listen, I hope you can hear it. I don't know if it will play. Let me see.
Shayla.
I don't know if the probably gonna come to you.
Shit,
I don't know. Well, I don't know how to make that volume come to you. I guess I had to have a speaker. It seemed like it. But anyway, wait a minute. Okay.
To license it for everyone.
Let me stop it. Start it again. I want y'all to hear what she said now. Very important.